Hello there. Thank you for joining me. It sounds so formal. I'm about to give like a press briefing. Hi. My name is Toast. I am a solo indie dev working on my very first video game called Rune Song. It's a game where you play as this blue wizard man who works at a magical bakery, and pastry thieves steal all of his baked goods, thus requiring him, of course, to go on a big grand adventure to retrieve them. It's been a series of all-nighters this month, which is great for progress, horrible for my personal well-being. I feel like I am going to die, quite literally. I'm very low energy, if you can't tell. I got a lot done, though. So in this video, I'm just basically going to, I don't know, just play the stage I've been working on and I guess yap about various things and doings. So let's get into it. Okay, so basically the game is more or less in polish phase, which means I'm just going through each level like with a fine-tooth comb, and just making it the best that I can. I'm sanding away any rough edges. A lot of this was dialogue. I wrote this dialogue probably a year or more ago, and I'm obviously a better writer now. I've been doing it nonstop. So I just saw a lot of little things that needed work, touch-ups, sometimes full-on, just, you know, I nuked it and came back with something fresh. And also the game is more fleshed out now, so I have a better idea of, like, how to make... Like, before, this level was very standalone-y, and it didn't work within the context of the story. Now it feels more like, you know, I bridged the story and the level so they're cohesive. So a lot of this cycle was working on getting all that up to snuff. Making the abridged short versions and just touching up some dialogues that just weren't flat out weren't good. Adding on to that, to ground the stage a bit more and make it everything feel a bit more... Like, realistic might not be the right word, but like purposeful, intentional, whatever. You start, everything, as you can see, there's a lock on that door. All the doors besides one start off with a lock. This is like the hub. The level is a hotel with monsters. It's like a monster hotel. And I wanted this one, I tend to make very linear stages because I don't like getting lost. But for this one, I wanted to make it so, like, literally, you're just thrown into this level, and you can just go anywhere you want. It's still... It's big, but the sections, like these little wings, are short, so you won't get lost, but you have a lot of options of where you want to go. But that didn't work for when you first spawned in, which everything used to be unlocked and open. Which isn't good for when you first spawn in, because, one, it's overwhelming, and two, I don't know how to give you the gist of the story. Like, why are you here? So now you talk to this guy. You basically get funneled up to here, to this section, where, like, the boss of the hotel is. And you talk to him, and he basically gives you the lowdown. He gives you your quest objectives, basically. So you have a direction and a purpose, rather than just spawning in and not knowing what the hell's going on. You used to come in where he's sitting now, but as you can see here, the dialogue box covers the top section, so I swapped it. Now you come in, the door's at the top, he's at the bottom, the dialogue boxes don't cover anything. Just little things like that are what I'm trying to fix, like little polish things that sometimes get missed. And it's something that the player would never notice, but they would notice if you were up there being covered by the dialogue box. And that's what a lot of game dev is. It's millions of things that are rough that you're trying to sand away. So that the overall experience, so the player doesn't notice that anything's weird. That's all game dev is. It's crazy. Another thing is all the backgrounds in the level were just ugly. So I changed them to this green stone. They just look cheap. They look chintzy. They were old art. They weren't good. So those were updated. I also added new molding. Before, the molding was like way too big. Like the molding was like this thick and it just looked weird. So I shrunk the molding down so it looks tinier. Same with the shelves to the right. Shrunk that way down. Okay, and so now, blah, blah, blah. He directs you to talk to this guy. And then all the doors are open now. So now You have your clear quest objectives. You know what's going on. You know you're in a hotel. And you can just go explore to your heart's content. Okay, another thing, another really big update, and I'm stoked about, is the camera system. I made the camera, I don't know if I would say smart, but smarter than it was. The camera was very basic. I made this camera when I first learned how to do anything, and I just never touched it since because, you know, it seemed like it worked. And quite frankly, I'm always terrified to go and really touch up any code because, like, there's cascading effects. You don't know what's going to be affected if you mess with anything. And, like, when something's working, I'm like, all right, it's working. Leave it there. It's good. But I went back. I'm a better programmer now, obviously. I've been doing this for a while. I feel a little bit more confident. And I did this. So, like, as you can see, when you're moving in a direction, the camera kind of gives you more room in that direction. So if I'm going left, it'll show you more left. Before it would show you the middle. And, you know, it's just another little thing that is like a quality of life feature. And if you don't move, it reverts back to the middle. Just for aesthetic reasons. Yeah, and also, probably the biggest thing, that's a small little update, but the biggest camera thing is, do you see this? Nothing's happening. Which is rad. Like, okay, so when you used to jump, the camera would just always follow you wherever you went. So every little jump, the camera would be bouncing up and down. And you know, I knew that wasn't good. That's not how I wanted it to work, but I just didn't know how to fix it. And people were like, dude, I'm getting motion sickness from playing your game because it's always bobbing. And now it doesn't freaking do that. And you still have full control. You can manually shift it up or down if you would like. Which was a pain to keep, but I knew I wanted that feature to say, oh, Jesus. Got hit. I knew I wanted to keep that intact, so getting that to work with this new camera system was a pain, but I made sure to keep it. But yeah, and you can see, like, it's still, it'll follow you up through the Y, like, when you're going down, it will pan down. When you're going up, it'll pan up. Another little change here, a little quality of life thing. Similar with the first guy, the camera would block this interaction. Now I program it so the camera moves up, you know, a decent distance, and it no longer blocks the interaction. I also added this viewfinder. Totally didn't steal this from Celeste. Totally didn't. This is my idea to make viewfinders. No, but like the viewfinders, I'm finding this is like the perfect iteration of it, because there's a quest here where you have to kill all these plants, and you have to get rid of all these zombies. And you know, it's very easy to miss one, and if you don't get rid of all of them, you know, you don't complete the quest. So with this viewfinder, you could look around and see exactly where all of these quest things are. And so this was like this is what the viewfinder was made for, and I've been having trouble because I didn't really need it in the game. I just thought it was cool and I wanted to add it, and now we have a practical use for it, and it's just super rad. Okay, this is the shed for the graveyard. This is where you find the shovel, which is a quest item you need to take care of the zombies that are, you know, crawling out of their grave. And it's not the most intuitive way with how you handle them. So I made this little journal, which is from the perspective of the previous guy that worked here, and he basically tells you how to use the shovel, how to take care of the zombies with it. And the way you do it is you pick the shovel up and you jump on the zombies, but you need to jump on them from a certain distance. I thought that would be fun. It kind of turns it into like a little puzzle. So like every zombie you see, you have to find high ground to get distance to then jump on them. This is an interesting scenario where the dialogue actually influenced the sound effect that I used. Before it was just like a normal, like some lame throwaway sound effect when you jumped on the zombie to knock him back into his grave. But that Cookie character I showed you earlier just always is talking about bonking. She's like, yeah, bonk the zombies, and I don't know, she's obsessed with bonking. Everything's bonk. And so I was like, oh, I should make the sound effect like this bonk when you jump on them. That would be fun, you know, tie in the two things. So I just felt like the most cartoonishly absurd bonk sound effect for when you're jumping on them. And so now I'm a man who loves a Wilhelm scream, dude. When I see a Wilhelm scream in like film or TV or video games, I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Dads will see this and say, hell yeah. So anyway, this zombie is called Harold. He's the only named zombie. He's supposed to be like the ringleader. He's the one Cookie tells you about. He's causing all the zombies to try to escape and blah, blah, blah. So I had to give him a special sound effect, and he got none other than the Wilhelm scream. So another little quality of life thing we have here is we have a gate, and you can go in this gate, and there's a segment here. But a lot of the playtesters didn't realize you can go in here. Because to be fair, it is easily missable. There's not like actual stuff behind it. So I get why people would miss it. So I just added this little sign that says, please remember to close this gate when entering or exiting the private plot, thank you. And I'm hoping that spurs people to realize, oh, close the gate, there's a gate here. Maybe I can, use it. Now here we have the same thing. There's a sign telling you, please remember to close the gate when entering the mausoleum grounds. This is new though. This entire segment wasn't here. I created this during this polish phase, and I think it's pretty sweet. So in the game, I don't know if every level will have them, but I'm trying. Well, some of the levels currently have little owl segments where you could play as a little owl. Well, I'll show you. But this is basically a mausoleum. Again, this is all new, and this is where this owl segment is. And as I was saying, I want to have little owl segments where you take control of this little guy and you have to navigate obstacles to find a treasure chest. Fire kills him, so you can't touch any lanterns, any candelabras, that kind of thing. Normal things will kill him, spikes, enemies. But yeah, these are, I think, my favorite part of the game right now. Dude, if I could go back and like start this whole thing over, I would just do a really short game where it's just this. You're just flying around as an owl, navigating stages. It's fun because I can control how many feathers you get per level. So for this one, for instance, I have 3. Jumping does not consume a feather. So you get 1 free jump and then 3 in-air flights, so you have to touch the ground again. And yeah, so each segment is like a little puzzle where like you're like, how do I navigate to the next area without consuming all my feathers? Because if you use all your feathers, obviously you won't be able to reach the next spot. And I don't know, there's something about navigating with this guy that's just really fun. You can also fast fall, so you can see if you do nothing, he slowly glides down, but you can also fast fall down. Did not mean to do. Fucking jump scared myself. And yeah, he just feels really smooth to control, and it's just a blast. So I'm probably gonna have these in all the segments and all the stages. Yeah, little owl detour, and this is the last bit I'm working on before I unleash the stage to playtesters. So once I'm done with this, the level will be finished. So this is another new thing I added. The area technically isn't new, but I just punched it up a little bit. Yeah, so this just used to be a greenhouse, and we needed a spot to. There's a quest where you need to get a red vine, like a red plant vine. So it was like, okay, let's throw it in a greenhouse. Well, the greenhouse in the graveyard, blah, 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 whatever. But it was kind of boring. It was kind of empty. It was half baked. Like, it just seemed like a missed opportunity. It was pretty boring. It was bland. And also, there's, if you complete a quest before doing the red vine part, you can't even get the red vine. So you'll be locked out. And there'll be literally no reason for coming here. So I turned it into a nightclub, like a discotheque, for gnomes. This is a little, like, he's supposed to be like the bouncer, this guy in this box. I added these red velvet ropes, these gold stands, blah, blah, blah. And then you go in, and it's a disco party. And then I wanted it to be a foam party. But I was like, I'm too horrible at art to make foam, so I just used these bubbles. So now it's like a bubble rave. You can see here a big bubble just spawned right there. This is another instance where the dialogue actually influenced the gameplay, or not the gameplay, but like the game itself. So there's these two. There's gnomes obviously dancing all around, and the gag is, they're all drunk, they're having a good time, they're hanging out. They're having life revelations. But these guys over here, I made them talk about the size of one of the bubbles. And after I did that, I was like, oh, I should make like one of the bubbles really big every now and then. I spent too much time coding this is why I have to tell you. Every now and then, one of the bubbles will be super big. I think one just spawned. And yeah, it's just a fun little thing that no one will notice but me, but it's there. And the game is full of these little details like that I think are so cool to add. But they're time consuming and like they're dumb and they don't really add anything. But if you notice them, you're like, hell yeah, dude, I see you. I made this disco ball, which I don't love. It's not great. It kind of, I don't know. It kind of looks like this like technological spaceship cookie. I don't know. I would like to make it better. This actually is the better version. It looked even shittier, if you can believe that, before. I would like to make it better. I'm trying not to spend time on, you know, too many frivolous things. Like the disco ball, does it really need to look that great? No, so fuck it. I'd rather make bubbles randomly spawn larger every now and then. Here's a nice little change. So we have a bar section in the hotel. And before it was just the bartender and like 2 dudes. So it was like an empty bar. Like, dude, a bar should be lively. A bar should have a bunch of people in it. So I went and I just added more people and it just feels a lot better. Again, we have gnomes dancing on the ceiling. We got this dude just chilling on a chair. We have dudes walking around. And it just, I don't know, it still only has the 3 dialogue sections, but it just feels more alive. And that's what I want. I want the world to be alive. I feel like it's breathing and just believable. And then we have Randy over here, one of my favorite characters in the game. Of course, he's wasted. He has beer and wine all around the area. And he's just a zombie who's chatting up this coat rack that he thinks is a potential love interest, I guess. And another just quality of life thing, I put the coat rack in the foreground, because before you could be in front of it and you'll be talking to him and you might not even realize there's a coat rack there. So again, a little fix there. But yeah, and I obviously, you know, I reworked all the dialogue. I reworked pretty much all the dialogue. So if you've played this game before, and you played this level, go ahead and read through all the dialogues again if you like the dialogue aspects, because there's new stuff everywhere. I think it's sharper, it's tighter, all that stuff. Okay, here I just added more, you know, like cleaning crew NPCs. Before, there was just this one ghost that was dusting that you talked to, and it was like she was the maid. And then I added more of them. I just copied and pasted that lady and added her all throughout the level a little bit here and there. And I also added the little gnomes that work here, and they're also part of the cleaning crew. And again, it's just to make the world seem a little less static, a little more alive. In this segment here, I have interactions, I have NPCs you could speak to in all of the rooms, except one. And that always rubbed me the wrong way, but I didn't feel like making another NPC, because I'm trying to keep the art to a minimum, because I'm not good at it, and it's time consuming for me. So anytime I could like do something without making art, I'm like, yes, let's do that. So here I added in like a survey, and it's from the boss that you fight in this stage. But it's not explicitly like, hey, hello, I am the boss of the hotel stage. But if you're paying attention to the little micro stories that's going on in the stage and the overall goal of the game, you know, you'll catch like, oh, this is the boss. You know, this was his room. He was staying here. And yeah, it's just kind of fun because you're bridging the gap of the story, the narrative, and the actual level design. And again, it's all in an effort to make the world feel like one cohesive thing. That's pretty much it. That's everything I've been working on. It's been a whole month of really. I've been going nonstop, dude. Like every night, no breaks. I'm just trying to plow through it because this game and just game development in general takes so long. It's like stop mo. Like you'll work for like 9 hours and you're like, dude, I have 3 seconds of gameplay. This is a nightmare. But yeah. A lot of this too was invisible changes. Like obviously I made that little bubble lounge discotheque area in the mausoleum with the owl, but everything else really, people that have played the game prior and have played the stage, they won't really notice a lot is different, but it's all behind the scenes, like state saving, right? Like this game never used to have saving in it, so like if you died after completing a quest, you would have to, the quest wouldn't save that you completed it. So I had to go back, and this was the first level where I had quests, so the quest logic is fucking bonkers insane. So I had to go back and refactor all that code and make it work with state saving, which was a fucking nightmare. So that took forever, going like line by line, like what the hell is happening here? But now all the quests save, all the secrets that you find save, all the chests that you unlock save, all the coins you collect save, the keys save. When you use a key now, you don't have to, you know, reopen the freaking door. You don't have to go and get the key again. There's shortcuts. There's a few that make navigating the stage even quicker. And those save. Like when you die, you won't have to refine them. So that's good. And then the last thing I did was, I just made this is the kitchen area. I made it just look a little more like a kitchen. Honestly, I still think I failed. It doesn't really look like a kitchen all that much. But, again, I'm trying to just use the assets I have to create what's left of the game, so I don't have to go back and draw more shit because I'm bad at it. So I just went and, you know, I threw a microwave in. I threw a little dish rack, shelf system. We have, you know, food items. And hopefully it looks a bit more like a kitchen than it did prior. What's going on here is all these ovens have been haunted by a poltergeist, so you have to defeat the ovens. That's one of the quests. Blah, blah, blah. But that's about it, man. Let me check my notes here, make sure I got everything. It looks like I did. So yeah, like I said, I'm just finishing up that last Mausoleum Owl segment, and then I'm going to open it up for playtesters. Because there might be a whole, I'm nervous with that whole saving refactor I did, that shit's just fucked up. Like, I'm worried, like, shit's gonna be loading in the wrong spot. If you do a quest and then reload, like, something, the logic is gonna bonk out. And there's so many quests and things in this stage that it's really difficult to test by myself. I'm not gonna put it on Steam, because that's a pain in the ass, that's a whole hassle. But I'll put it on itch, and we'll see what happens. So, that's pretty much everything that's been going on. It's been a long, grueling month of just non-stop go, go, go. But, I'm very happy with how this stage turned out. If I can make every stage turn out as good as I think the forest and this level are, this is the mark I'm trying to hit for all the stages. If I can do that, I think I will have done my job as a game developer. And most importantly, I'll be, you know, pleased with myself, which is at the end of the day what I'm going for here. Like, I'm trying to make something that I'm proud of and I can stand behind and not feel like I wasted all this. Not to say I wasted time, because like the experience honestly alone and the amount I learned and just like the knowledge I gained was so beneficial, not only from a game dev standpoint, but from a life standpoint. Like I feel, I don't know, I just feel super, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but I don't know, I just feel like a better version of myself after having gone through this journey so far. I feel more capable, I guess confident, yeah, I don't know, fuck it. For that alone, it was worth it, but I also would like to come away with a really rad game that I could stand behind and be proud of and not be like, oh yeah, that's my game, it's good, but, you know, it's cool, but, you know, then there's all this bullshit that I'm not proud of. So that's the plan. I'm gonna keep working on this thing as long as it takes. It could take another year, it could take another 2 years, I don't know. One thing I do know is polish phase is a hell of a drug, and it takes so much longer than I could have possibly imagined. And I knew it was gonna take a long time, because when you think about it, like, you're taking all these random aspects that you built, and you're trying to make them now work, again, cohesively into the overarching story and themes and just game itself. And so like everything you add needs to be in service. It's like a bridge that's connecting two pieces of land. You can't just build the bridge anywhere you want. You need to build it in such a way that it connects the two segments, right? I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's so much harder. And I think that's why a lot of game devs start a project and then they quit. Obviously, yeah, it's hard and it's stressful, but it's because it's so much more difficult as the project takes shape, because you can't just fire from the hip. You need to be laser focused, right? Sorry, rambling. Once I'm finished with the owl segment, I will give it to playtesters. If anyone would be kind enough to help me playtest this thing, it'll be on itch. That's where we're at now. And after this, we're gonna pick another stage and do the same thing. We're gonna punch it up. We're gonna, you know, fix the dialogues. We're gonna add dialogues if it needs to, add quests. And yeah, that's about it, dude. Thanks so much for watching. If you're in the Discord, thank you so much. You know, you guys being there really does help keep me motivated, keep me accountable. And it's tough, man. I get it. Like, it's so hard. Like, development moves at such a fucking slow pace. It's hard. I'm assuming it's hard for people to be engaged with the game just because it's so slow. But thank you. My heart goes out to you, Elon Musk. No, I'm not. Remember that? That was crazy. What a silly guy he is. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Means a lot. I appreciate it. Peace.